Hey there, Purple Team. We're back with some more Bite-Sized VoD reviews, and today we're going to be going over the Blizzard World game we played over the weekend. So let's talk about setup right here. So this is the very start of the round. We were on defense, and right now we have Ryan Sigma, Ashe Tracer, a Baptiste, and an Ana sitting over here on the high ground. So let's think about what our synergies are here, right? Right now we've got a Sigma and an Ashe on the high ground. This is a very good place to start at the beginning because Ashe has a lot of good range, and she's got a superior vantage point, and she can boost off with Coach Gun and easily reposition here. So it's very annoying for the enemy team to try to take that. The Sigma here, in order to provide defense, give her a shield, make it so they can't just get a lucky headshot on her, is very good. But what about the rest of our team? Well, we've got the Rhine and the Baptiste as the kind of a very strong ground-based backbone, but looking at this further, we're really split up into two distinct styles. We've got a Tracer here to pair with our Ashe, and that's really good for that kind of poke composition. And we've got an Ana back here. Now, our Ana is going to get the most value in supporting the Rhine, but the Baptiste is also going to get the most value supporting the Rhine. You want the Sigma and the Ashe to play in an off angle, and based on this overlap in like role specifications, what you really want here is instead of the Ana, looking at this in retrospective, what you'd really want is a Mercy to play with the Ashe and the Sigma, because with a Mercy pocket, Ashe gets a one tap headshot on. We can't know their team composition in advance, but looking at it right now, their Mercy, their Ashe, their Tracer, and their Ana. 2/3 of their team die instantly if our Ashe is pocketed and hits a headshot. So that's really powerful. And looking back on it, what you really want to do here with this composition is if we swap that on into a Mercy, we can have our Ashe Mercy Sigma combination on high ground. It's very hard for them to dislodge. Our Reinhardt is actually going to want to stay back here. There's no reason for our Rhine to be taking a ton of poke damage here, and so you really want the Rhine to maybe get some value with fire strikes, maybe give our healers a little bit of ult charge at the beginning, but the Rhine's not going to have value until the fight really gets to point, unless they're running a brawl comp in return, and they are not. So Reinhardt wants to really be focusing on hanging out on point and making them have to aggress into him where he can brawl on point. Now with the Tracer, we have Roma and Tracer here. The Tracer doesn't want to be playing with the team. So where are good places to set up for Tracer on this map? Well, that sort of goes into where the enemy team can rotate and how that works with our Sigma Ashe over here. But two of the most common rollouts are this left side, Lost and Found Vikings, and main here, right? So where can you go to avoid getting found out here? Well, this mega pack is a good. Oh god, I've got to get out of the map here. Apologies. This mega pack over here is a good place to hide because you can hide out right here. The enemy will almost never scout this particular area out, and you can give your team intel as to whether or not they're going main. If they're not, then you can maybe get a little bit more aggressive, because chances are they probably won't back out main unless your team gets an early pickoff, which might happen. Another place to play is actually right over here by this mega. Why would you try to play a flanking China Tracer behind your Reinhardt right here? Well, the answer to that is that, like I was saying earlier, the Reinhardt isn't going to be getting a ton of value unless they're running a frontline brawl into your Reinhardt. So once you see that they have this dive composition, the Reinhardt's going to want to back up, and the Reinhardt can either back up to this part of point right here, allow Baptiste a place to stay back and be protected while pumping out healing, or actually more, what's probably better, over this way. You can get supported by the Ana right now. You can get supported by the Baptiste, and the Sigma and the Ashe can reposition to the back to this part of point, if they need to. And that ties in with how the enemy team is going to rotate. So you've got the enemy team coming from this right side from the defensive perspective over here. Now what can they do? Well, because they're dive, they can jump directly onto this high ground. And that's going to be the worst case scenario for you, because if you can't get a headshot while that happens, then you're going to be forced off high ground, right? You can back down these stairs here, and go back down here. you can also use Coach Gun and use Sigma's defensive abilities to just back out along the streets. Either of them are fine. Now, if they're not running a dive, or if they're running a dive in a really weird suboptimal way, they could try to go through this through these stairs to take high ground. Now, in the case that a composition does that, they try to take those lower stairs to come up to the high ground. That's perfect for this Ashe and this Sigma, because as they make this transition, whether it's from main or whether it's all the way from left, that's a perfect opportunity of where you want to be trying to get value. Because if you can find an exposed head, you click on one of them. You can throw a dynamite in here as they come up. If you don't. Or as they're crossing, even to slow them down before. There's a lot of ways for Ashe to get value over here. And if they try to make that crossing, that's exactly where you want to be punishing their rotation. Now, if they have maybe more of a brawly comp and they go over here, they're probably going to run over... they're going to try to run over our Rhine and either back up towards this street or come across and continue going over here. That's why our Rhine isn't going to be wanting to be taking the fight over here. He's going to be wanting to use the point as leverage, right? If they make no attempt to come get this Ashe, no matter what they do, whether they rotate, over to the right side or the left side from their perspective, the Ashe can just stay on this high ground and just put out damage into their team. While the Reinhardt, no matter which way they back out, can use the point as leverage by saying, okay, if they come, over here, if they come over this way, I will back up and I will stand at the other side of the point and I will make them have to come over to me in order to get value. So that helps your Ashe put out damage and softens them up before they get to you. If they come out over on this side, if they push this side, you just do the same thing. You back up, you come over here. With a Bat Mercy, it's going to be easier for the healers to reposition there more flexibly based on where they approach. But with this composition, right, poke like this poke style, like using the Ashe, using your long range damage is going to be the easiest way to get value here. And so softening them up and using this Rhine Baptiste strong tank combo, forcing them to have to invest time, space, and abilities to get to you in the first place, and then using your ability to brawl to elongate that time that it takes for them to capture space on the point is going to be the best way to help your team set up. So it's a bit of a long one, a lot of information there, but based on these setups, these are ways that you can set your team up for success a little bit.